Today's episode brought to you by mazzomedia.ca. Today on Business Bytes, we talk about how to set up wireless audio in your home or business. Hello and welcome to Business Bytes, the show that brings together business, technology, and marketing. I'm your host, Matthias Clement. So we're going to switch things up a little bit. I've been getting a lot of questions on how to do things, whether that be how to market or how to set something up or how to do something a little more in depth. So for the next few weeks, we're going to actually show you how to do something for your business in a little more detail and depth. And that is wireless audio today. I've chosen to do this one first because I find a lot of businesses are playing music in their stores and are probably running wires all over the place in order to do so. And also, I was at a shoot this week where I saw the dance instructor teaching a class, and they were walking to and fro from the stereo to be able to stop and start the CD player. And upon closer examination, I realized that they actually had their iPhone plugged into the system, but they were playing and stopping, and all this toing and froing was actually wasting a lot of time. So when I brought up the idea to them that they could play the music wirelessly and control it all from their phone, they were all ears. So today we're going to talk about different ways to set up wireless audio. More or less, there are two ways that you can set up wireless audio nowadays. Here in my hands I have two options, either an Apple Airport Express or some sort of Bluetooth receiver. They come in many different flavors. This one I have is the MW-MR01 audio receiver from Monoprice. I'll post a link down below. And they're both quite different devices, and so it's up to you which one you're going to want. The music receiver just does just that. It will only take in audio and send it out to your stereo. Whereas the Airport Express is a much more comprehensive package. It actually has the ability to be a wireless router, and it's all plugged in here. It will actually just have the prongs flip out, and you can have a wireless router plug into your wall. You can also hook up printers and hard drives to the Airport Express, which is something that you can't do with the Monoprice device. And also the Airport Express will play a optical audio out, and for those audiophiles out there, you'll know that it is a much better audio signal than what you get out of just a headphone RCA jack. Anyway, let's get to it. In the case of the Bluetooth receiver, just plug it in and wait for the blue light to start flashing. That flashing blue light is just saying that it's ready to be found by either your iPod, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, whatever device you're going to hook up to be able to play the sound. Same thing goes for the Apple Express. Just flip out the prongs, plug it in, and it will start flashing. The flashing light in yellow will indicate that it still needs to be set up. This one has been partially set up, and we will reset it. Resetting the Airport Express is really easy. There's a little button on the top that you can take a pen and simply hold it in. It will start flashing slowly and then very quickly. And once it is flashing very quickly, then we know that it is in the process of being reset and we can let go. In the case of the Bluetooth receiver, the headphone jack will be right here. By headphone jack, I mean the standard 3.5mm jack that you find on headphones or the RCA prongs. And here on the Apple Express side of things, here's that reset button that we press. Here is the either optical audio or the RCA jack, which we plug into, and then the other side we plug into our stereo. The USB port on the Airport Express can be used for either hard drives or for wireless printing, which we'll do in another episode. And also the Airport Express can also be plugged into your other router to merely extend its range or to be able to have internet access on that spot. But for today, the main concern is the audio ports on each device. In this example, I'm going to use my iPhone to pair up with the Bluetooth device. First, I've gone into my Bluetooth settings, which can usually be found under settings. And then as you can see, the iSpeaker shows up. That's the name of this guy. So we go ahead and click on there, wait for it to connect to the device. Usually the PIN number is required for a device. Often when you're pairing with Bluetooth audio devices, it's just 4 zeros. And pair. Now the iSpeaker says it's connected. Now we can go over into my music. And in this case, when we select our audio options under this symbol here on the iPhone, we can see that I have the iSpeaker selected. And the moment I press play, I can get the sound. Now when it comes to the Airport Express, things aren't as easy as the Bluetooth receiver. First thing you're going to have to do is go to Apple's website, and under their support tab, you'll find a download section, and under the download section you'll find Airport Express, and then you can choose between your airport utility for either Windows or Apple. In my case it is Windows. Once you have downloaded that and installed it, then you will wind up with a setup screen that looks like this. In my case, I have both an Airport Extreme and an Airport Express. The Airport Express is the base station F9 C2 F9, as you see here. It'll give you some sort of random number. The yellow indicates either there's something wrong with the station or that it still needs to be set up. We'll go ahead and click continue, and you'll be taken up to a first setup screen. Now in my case, my Airport Express has already been set up before, so what I want to do is I want to replace the previous profile with the default settings. Fresh out of the box, you make it a slightly different screen. But moving on to there, I'm pretty sure that this is the screen that you're going to get with a new one. And you can name it whatever you like. Sometimes it's easier to name it something short. I like to name my Airport Express when I'm using it for music a short name, either speakers or sound, music, whatever it might be, so that when I click on the icon that lets me have my different sounds, it's rather short. It's also an idea to give your Airport Express a password so that no one can hack into it from a distance. Once you've entered that, then we can move on to the next one, which will ask you what you want to do. In my case, I want to create a new wireless network so that we can set up our audio. Moving on, it will ask you for the network name and as well as the wireless password that you'll assign it. It's always a good idea to have security on your Wi-Fi station. And now we'll get to this screen, which will finalize the process, and from there then it will set up the whole process, and you'll get something like this. The wireless station on the left may disappear for a bit, but once that is restarted, you will get a big check mark on what you can do. Once we've gone ahead and set up the process, we're going to want to go back into the airport utility to ensure that the AirPlay is enabled. It should be enabled by default, but we always like to check. So when you go back to this menu, what you want to do is you want to choose manual setup. When you go into manual, it will take a second to load up, and then you'll see 5 icons at the top: airport, internet, music, on and on. Obviously music is what we want. Once you click that tab, you'll notice a series of options showing up. You want to make sure that the enable AirPlay is turned on. That's what allows us to have our wireless music. And then from there, what we want to do is possibly name them. Like I said, something short is quite often practical, but also you can password it so that not anybody can connect to your wireless network and then proceed to start playing music. In my case, I live out in a rural area, so I don't even have a password on my network. So in theory, someone could just start playing music through my network without me even knowing, which I hope doesn't happen late at night. But once you've set that up, you click the update button and you should be able to play your AirPlay. Now it is important to note that AirPlay will only work on a few select devices. It's not going to work on Blackberries or Androids. It will work with iPod Touches, iPhones, and it will also work with any laptop running iTunes. For iTunes, what you're going to have to look at is the little icon down in the bottom right hand corner that looked very similar to the iPhone icon. And once you select that, you can play not only on the wireless speakers that you have, but also on the laptop speakers in case you're looking for some extra sound. And so there you have it. You have 2 different options about how to play wireless music through your home or through your business. Again, 2 very different options at 2 different price points. With the Airport Express, you can not only play wireless music, but also you can do wireless printing, which we will do in a later episode. With the little guy here, we can play wireless music only. Mind you, this was $100 and this guy was $25. So quite a big price point. It depends what you want in the future. The great thing about wireless printing is you can share one printer throughout the whole house without having to be connected to wires. So that's all we have today for Business Bytes. You can follow me on Twitter here down below and ask any questions you want, or if you have any other questions, you can email them to me at mazomedia@gmail.com. And I'll see you in the upcoming weeks as we learn how to do other cool stuff.